Hi there, my name's Drew. This is my content project. The purpose of this project is to quickly and hopefully clearly explain a concept that I found. And for me, this was the use of the camera, the reality behind the camera in the Blair Witch Project. The purpose, like I said, is to explain this as easily and as simply as possible as long, as well as explaining this just clearly. So hopefully everyone is able to understand kind of what I'm putting down. So to kind of start, we have cameras. We also have this thing called the DAT, which is an audio recorder. The camcorder, which you see on the right, which is next to the Blair Witch poster, has a microphone in it, and then the other camera does not. So the DAT is mostly for that big camera. The camera, though, functions as a lens. It is a lens into the real world. The way we're defining the real here is the movie itself. It is supposed to portray itself as an actual thing. It is not a made up story. It's not fiction. The Blair Witch Project is a found footage film. That is what it's supposed to convince you of. So the camera shows what is real within the story of the Blair Witch. The Blair Witch is folklore, which is not necessarily true. And the Blair Witch Project, thus the title of the film, is about figuring out what is real about the Blair Witch. What is actually the story? What is the reality of this story? When we focus on reality, uh, we're mostly going to focus on these two definitions, which is the world or state of things as they actually exist, as opposed to an idealistic or notional idea of them, and a thing that is actually experienced or seen. So, what I mean by this is that the camera is showing us exactly this definition, especially on that bottom part there, which is a thing that is actually experienced or seen. We're actually seeing what is going on. A lot of people need to be able to see something to believe something, thus, seeing something is a reality. And the camera functions as a lens for our eyes. Almost think of it like a contact lens, to where you see the world one way, then you put the contact on, and then you see it slightly different. There is a line that Josh says that states that the camera um, shows us the world, but it's slightly off. That's more of a paraphrase, right? The point of that is that though we are seeing the real world, it's just a little different to keep us grounded. And within this grounding, we find what is actually here. We believe that the Blair Witch is just a story, and the camera is going to take us away from it just being a story. We get our first encounter, which was in the tent, which showed that the Blair Witch exists. The Blair Witch, in it being a paranormal being, doesn't matter. We don't need to see the monster. We prove that it's there. Josh eventually dies, as represented by the tongue and teeth, which are cut out, put into a bundle of sticks, which we see a lot of. But this one in particular had his jackets, little bits of fabrics wrapped around, which showed us the reality that Josh was found. There's a piece of Josh in there. Thus, Josh is more than likely dead. The kill method of the Blair Witch is the exact same as the folklore tale of the hermit, who we'll refer to as the old man, and how the old man actually killed these kids in the forest. He would lead them down into his basement. He would take one, have them face the wall, and then when the second kid came down to go get his friend, you would then kill that child. There were seven kills in total because the eighth kid, who would have been the second one in that kill, um, escapes. And that seventh kid is then killed, which shows that if you're not facing the killer, he'll kill you because he didn't like the eyes seeing him do it. He didn't like being watched. Thus, when Heather, Josh, and Mike, our characters, are running away from the Blair Witch when they first encounter it, though they should be caught seemingly, Heather, when she turns around, shows that, hey, when you look at this creature, it doesn't kill you. When you don't see it, it'll kill you, which justifies Josh's death. This is three. This is an odd number of people. Josh was killed more than likely unsuspectedly, but we don't see it because how he dies doesn't really matter to the story of the Blair Witch, other than the fact that Josh is a victim to her. And so, therefore, when we get to the house, it is safe to assume that that house is the same house that the old man would kill the kids in, which is emphasized by what the camera shows us inside the house, which is the kids' handprints all over it. When we see like a lot of the writing on there, and then eventually showing us the basement to where Mike is knocked down first, not killed, because he probably sees the Blair Witch. The Blair Witch then puts him in the corner. He looks down, he's facing away. Heather runs in, and then she is killed. All of which is caught on camera. Okay. We see that the kill method of the old man is a true story. And if the Blair Witch is paranormal, there's a lot of theories you can dive into. Or you could say that this is maybe a copycat killer. Okay, if you don't know what that means, that just means that someone became famous for how they killed somebody, and then someone else does that exact same thing to kind of continue a legacy. It could be something like that, but that's just a theory. My point being here is that the camera proves the project. It actually justifies the project. The project is successful. We prove the Blair Witch is real. We show its behavior, which is that it'll stalk you, it'll roam around where you are, it'll leave you little trinkets, which is the bundle of sticks, and eventually it'll kill you. And how it will do that will either unsuspectingly when you're not paying attention, or it will kill you in the manner of I will get one of you, put you in a vulnerable position facing away from me, and then I will get you from behind and then kill your friend. The way that this describes reality is that the camera, once again, which functions as our eyes, especially within the context of this being a found footage film, is that the camera shows us what we then see, okay, and what they were seeing, what our characters were seeing. It shows our eyes. We see the world, we see reality, and we see everything occur through the camera. The camera is not just a film device, it justifies everything, including the Blair Witch Project itself. It shows what the Blair Witch does and how it behaves, and justifies the original idea, which is to make a real, non cheesy documentary about the story of the Blair Witch, which is then shown to its full potential, which is to actually be a victim of the Blair Witch. So, as the camera, if we go back to this concept and we ask ourselves, hey, what is the reality of the camera? The reality of the camera is showing reality. Everything is true because it was caught on camera, because we saw it. I hope that made sense. Thank you very much. Once again, my name is Drew, and that was my content project. Take care.